Hey babes, it's Ashley. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you haven't been here already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This video is going to be all about how I made this wig for my client. So we're going to jump right in. If you want to know all of the information about the bundles and about all the materials I'm using, I will list them all in the description box. But yeah, I always use a deluxe weaving net to make my wigs, because they're more breathable than dome caps or spandex caps in my personal opinion. But yeah, I just line up the middle of the cap to the middle of the stitching in the cork head, and I go ahead and I put my T-pins in the edges of the cap, and I use nylon thread because I just feel like nylon thread gets my wigs more snatched. And that's just what I do to prepare. It takes like 5 seconds, and I just get the longest bundle and I start sewing. And whenever I'm starting a weft, what you see me doing right there is basically I just take the thread and I loop it a couple of times around the needle, and then I pull and it leaves a knot. It ties a knot in it. So that's a really good tip I got from Peak Mill, and it's super duper awesome. I use it all the time whenever like I'm on the edges or in the middle to tie a knot. But whenever I'm not tying a knot, you'll see I'm just kind of like pulling the needle through the loop without tying a knot. So that's just how I sew. And also when I'm right around where I'm about to fold the weft, like I'll take the weft on the top and then I'll tie a knot and sew that one, fold it over, and then I'll tie a knot through the weft on the bottom, and then I'll continue the weft sewing it in the opposite direction. And that is just a tip that I learned, and it is really effective in getting the folds really flat. So at this point, I finished sewing on 2 bundles, and after I sew on 2 bundles, I always proceed by sewing on the closure. So these are some T-pins that I've had for a long time, and I hate them because like the open triangle makes it really hard to sew. I like the ones that are flat because your thread doesn't get caught on them. So yeah, I just use those T-pins, and I'm just taking them out of the way, and I put the closure like a little bit ahead of the front of the cap, and then I use my T-pins and I stretch the closure flat, and I use my T-pins to secure it. And then I put my T-pins in each corner, making sure that the edge is taut, and here I am just doing it on the other side and then doing it around the back, and basically getting it as flat as possible and readjusting where necessary. Like it's totally okay to lift it up and put it back tighter if you need to. I know that I normally need to make sure that it's as flat as possible, because this step is really important, because once it's time to cut the net from underneath and you apply it, like doing that step will make sure it's really flat. And then I just get my nylon thread, and then I tie a knot around the front, like on the edge, and then when I continue, I just sew normally. And In between, I'll sew knots every now and again, but for the most part, I'm just sewing and making sure that I'm sewing really close to each other. Does it make sense? Really close to each other? I don't know. I'm just making sure that I am sewing one stitch really close to the next one, and then when I get to the other side, bada bing, bada boom, I just tie my knot again, and then I am done with sewing on the closure. And then here I am sewing on the third and last bundle, and whenever I am on my last bundle, I don't double the weft just because it makes it flatter. Like if I were to double the weft, I'm pretty sure it still would be flat, but it's just like extra flat if I don't double it around the end. And sorry I wasn't able to film that last part, but I just used the flip over method until I got to the top. This is what the wig looked like on my client when she came and picked it up. She was totally in love with it. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like this video. I'll see you guys next time.